Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how to replace your ram to 25, 35, 100, maybe 45, 55 rotors, not rotors, wheel hub bearing assembly. Unfortunately, this is a certified truck. Dealer certified, said it's okay, it's safe, but it wobbles. First, you gotta remove all your brake components. Or even before that, maybe a good idea to remove the nut first. What's interesting, this half-inch M12 stubby is powerful enough. Yeah, M12, size 33. Look how clean the threads are now. Without spraying anything, just using a brush. And I'll post a link where you can buy all this stuff. Just using a brush and cleaning the threads. You can see actually how much dirt up there kind of from the threads. However, I will use some whatever WD-40 to spray so it comes out much easier. So now I'm going to remove those caliper bolts, size 16 here and at the bottom. And then after remove caliper bolts, I'm going to remove those caliper bracket bolts. Those are big ones. You can use equipment. So the bolts for the bracket would not torque to the specs, even the caliper bolts. Look at this, 3/8 with extension 24, removes it easily with this tool. This is not a powerful tool. 360 foot-pounds or something, maybe even less. But unfortunately, good thing I'm doing it myself. A big dealer doesn't even know the torque specs for this. What a shame. What a quality of work. Terrible. Next step is to pull the rotor. If you had some kind of grease around it, then you won't have any problems removing it. But if it was dry, rusted, then you're going to have problems removing. Make sure you spray it, let it soak it before you try to remove it. See, in my case, it's coming off easily. So I'm going to try to reuse the factory linear sensor. I'm going to try to remove it, see how it goes, because I don't want to undo everything and mess with all the wiring. Not like it's a big deal, but factory sensor is factory sensor. So we'll see how it goes. At the same time, I'm going to loop those bolts that I have to remove them. So while I'm removing the sensor, ABS sensor, bolts are being dissolved with some kind of penetrating oil. So use the hexagonal bit, use the hammer, drive it and tap it slightly so you can loosen up, break any rust on the bolt itself, and just try it gently, see how it goes. There you go, you see it? Tap and it comes off quite easily. Oh, and there is grease there. So the removing the bolt shouldn't even be an issue in this case. Sure if the camera can focus or not, but you can see, yeah, so it looks pretty good. So now I'm going to wiggle the sensor and get it out. So sensor popped out right up using screwdriver from this side, screwdriver from that side, and rocking it back and forth, and it just pops. As you can see, there's plenty of grease there. What is being stuck is by the O-ring. Clean the O-ring, check and see if it's good, put it back. If not, we'll end up using the new one. So the removal of those 4 bolts that hold the hub, you have to turn the wheel to the left or to the right, depending. You can use impact. In some cases I wasn't able even to reach with the impact because of the angle, and just it was easier to use my old torque wrench, 1/2 inch, on this side. From this side, impact, this one, big one, did with no problem because there is more room. And I just don't want to put more extension and kind of laying on the ground and trying to take it off. Was much easier to break it loose with a 1/2 inch and then impact zipped. To get this thing out, it's pretty rusted, so you just hammer it on the side here, on the side there, until it comes out loose. As you can see, it did come out very rusty. When it's coming out, try and make sure that axle does not pop out. Just keep pushing it back, because it does move slightly, but should not come out a lot. You don't want to come out and lose and damage the sealer. So as you can see, lots of rust. That explains why it was hard to remove. You can see a lot of beating on the edges to get it out. So next step, what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean all the rust. All the rust has to come out everywhere, from here, from inside, and then we start the installation process. So after cleaning all the rust here, don't forget to wipe it. Don't forget to clean this. If you're gonna spray a liquid, just careful so nothing drains down to the seal, the ball joint, so it doesn't soften up or eats the rubber. That's the first step. Don't forget to clean this surface too. All this rust buildup is gonna prevent a tight seal and proper attachment. So there is a lip, as you can see, around the flange of rust buildup. Remove it with a file, sander, whatever you have, because it will prevent a new hub assembly having a better flush mount. See, there's a lip, you can see actually the edge. So remove it. It's all built up. I started right there, as you can see. So remove all the rust. Hardest part about this job is being patient and taking your time. So as you can see, I removed as much as possible rust. Everything, inside, outside, edges, that right there, that flange around the axle. Clean the holes, clean the grooves of the axle splines. A quick tip, you can use screwdriver or anything underneath there to keep the axle from falling down and damaging the seal. Anything is better than nothing. So that's something you want to keep in mind. When you remove it, put something there so it holds the axle in place, so it doesn't drop and damage the seal. So clean all the rust, and then there's going to be a next step that I'm going to show you what to do next. So now we're ready, after seeing the grease applied in the spots where it's going to rust. So ready to start inserting the new hub bearing or hub assembly. So this is what I'm using, SKF. Why SKF? Well, it's either Timken or SKF. After researching, price was a little bit lower, same warranty, so I'm like, let's give it a try to SKF. Something I want to point out, they're using the same blue grease as factory, which is very interesting. So I'm going to remove that. I'm going to put the factory sensor in. I just checked, make sure the new bolts that I bought they can thread. They're exactly the same bolts. They have exactly the same name on it. I'll post a link where you can buy them. Why brand new bolts? Well, because the old bolts they take so much beating. Popped out right out, same color grease. I'm kind of surprised. So we'll be able to salvage that grease and apply it to the original factory sensor, where lube it up a little bit so it keeps the moisture, even though it looks like there's plenty of there, but still we'll take it off. We'll keep that sensor for the future if I ever need one. If not, well, that makes it even better. So now we're going to install. Make sure you install with the sensor up, because there's a groove for the wire, and just take your time. Don't rush it, and let's see how it goes. See, you can start the bolt and start pulling the bolts, and it will pull itself in, which is very nice. A few numbers I'll give you. Hub bearing bolts 149 foot-pounds, and axle nut is right there, 132. This is the number one mistake everyone makes. and I'm not sure if this applies to all Ram HD or just 2018. You see, that's the torque numbers. Don't forget to torque your hub bearings. 149 foot-pounds of torque. This side, actually to the wheel, turn the wheel to the direction you need to, and just torque it. Use the combination of sockets, short, long sockets, maybe extension, depending. Once you're done with that, then will be next step to do your axle nut. Here's something, a tip. If you have grease, just apply it everywhere up there. It will seal any cracks, and when next time you have to remove it, it doesn't look pretty, but sometimes function over pretty is always better. So it will not be rusted, will not be corroded, and moisture will not get there. So that's just the tip. So after you torque your hub bolts, put the rotor in. And before you put the rotor in, the way I did, I cleaned the surface with a brake cleaner the other side, put the rotor in, and then clean this. So I put a couple of spacers, you can do washers, attach the rotor so it doesn't wobble. So I can put a caliper bracket, start attaching caliper bracket. Don't forget to check the grease on your pins while it's off. It's much easier to do it. If you need to add, if you need to clean it and replace with something else, go ahead. There will be a video, the link to use the best stuff money can buy for your Ram or any other vehicles. So here is the numbers. Caliper adapter mounting bolts 25 and 3500s, 260 foot-pounds. Crazy. 260 foot-pounds. Not sure if you guys can see it or not, but right there. That's a lot of torque. And then for the pins, you see it above, it's 27 foot-pounds. No, actually 55. The pins are 55 foot-pounds. Still, that's, yep, caliper pins are 55 foot-pounds. Caliper mounting bracket bolts are torqued, pads inserted, sides are lubed. Now I'm going to install my caliper, torque to 55 foot-pounds, and then the last thing would be axle nut. So this is the setup. After torquing the pins, put a screwdriver to lock lock the nut or to torque the nut. The first step is to the instructions. These are service instructions, dealer instructions, well actually OEM instructions. On the 32 torque, then rotate 5-10 times, and the final torque 263, which is no one does this. Then you wonder why they fail prematurely. Well, if you don't torque or you over torque, you will cause hub wheel bearings to fail before its time. This is it. All the bolts are torqued. I applied anti-rust to metal parts. One of my favorite products. So with the heat, it will distribute. It has its own capability to spread on its own. Contact points in the rotor, lubed it so that the wheel does not rust. And that's the last step. After checking, making sure everything is torqued, you don't have to remove tie rod ends, none of that stuff. It's all accessible with just turning wheel left or right and extension on the sockets. And wobble helps, but you don't need wobble socket or the extension. So that's it. Well, if you have questions, drop me in the comment section. I'm kind of surprised there is nothing here that some cars have you would dent, with a chisel or a hammer, so the nut does not come loose. And apparently, maybe because it's 260 foot-pounds, or 263, maybe it's not needed. So very interesting. So that's it. If you have questions, drop in the comment section, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you.